What's going on, everybody? Resale Rabbit here. So if you saw by the title, 2022 wasn't a great year, but there are some things. I just did a little weird neck thing when I said that. So I've got my numbers all here. This is not the hard and fast numbers that are sent to the IRS. This is the numbers that I'm sending to my accountant. So although on paper I lost a bunch of money, this is just money in and money out for 2022. There are several things on here that are not being written off because they're going to be amortized over a number of years. So they're only being written off in part. And then also the inventory that I have on hand at the end of the year is not getting written off. For the purposes of this, the numbers on here is the inventory that I purchased in 2022, not the cost of the items sold. The items are written off when they're sold. I hope I'm not complicating that too much. It also does not factor my salary, my paycheck, which I didn't change it or anything for 2022, is deducted from this number to get to that. This is just the business's information. I know I'm going to get a whole bunch of people that did not listen to that part going, wow, you really lost a lot of money. How are you still in business? Because I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to try and do this without editing. One take wonder. Also, for the purposes of this video, when I say this year, I mean 2022, because for the past several days, it's been 2022 for me. And for the past 7 years, it's been 2008 for me. 2008 was 7 years ago, right? Let's pretend it was. And then when I say last year, I mean 2021. If you're wondering why in July I'm doing my taxes for 2022, it's because I actually file corporate taxes at the end of the year, September to be more exact. So I'm putting this stuff together now. So, grand total, this is very helpful. Don't need that. Grand total in revenue in 2022. Also, this doesn't factor YouTube revenue because YouTube is under my personal name, not the business. Grand total is $584,559.53, which is up from $528,000 the previous year in 2021. I have 5 revenue streams. There's one, but it's $26, so I don't count that. I've got 5 revenue streams under the business. Number one, the biggest one, is our warehouse sales. In 2022, we had 5 warehouse sales where we did $332,244 in sales. It's up from $273,000 the previous year, but I think we only did 4 in 2021. Auction sales. I own an auction company. That's $109,613 in sales, up from $106,000 the previous year. eBay, $122,177 in gross sales on eBay, up from $111,000 the previous year. Other sales is like if I sell something on Facebook Marketplace or if I sell a pallet or something like that. $14,572, up from $13,000 the previous year. Next year, 2023, is going to be a much bigger number because remember all those dryers that I sold for $40-something thousand in the beginning of this year? That's considered other sales. And then lastly, we've got Amazon. I don't sell on Amazon anymore. This is just probably stuff that was stuck in the warehouse that eventually sold. $5,924, down from the $24,000 the previous year. I do sell a little bit on Amazon. About once a quarter, I'll send in a small shipment with a few items just so my account remains active, just because it's nice to have an active Amazon seller account in my back pocket. And if I'm not selling anything on there, then Amazon is just going to go and give me the ban hammer. And I don't want that to happen. Now, inventory purchase. Again, this is not cost of goods sold. This is inventory that I purchased in 2022. I spent $255,233 on inventory. Starting off, liquidation truckloads, $211,000. That's up from the $124,000 the previous year. So if the seller is arranging the freight, I include the freight cost in that. If I am arranging the freight, I do not include the freight cost. There's a separate line for that. So it kind of varies there, but the liquidation industry is getting tough. I did buy more inventory this year, I'm sure, but it's so much more expensive nowadays. I probably bought maybe 50% more and it's doubled the total cost. Anyways, consignor payouts. The auction company, most of the stuff is brought in by consigners, and we sell it for them and cut them a check. We paid consigners $33,079.16, up from the $25,000 the previous year. Let's see. And then other inventory purchase. This is basically everything else. If I buy something at a garage sale, if I buy a delinquent storage unit, if I buy something in an auction or Goodwill or something like that, I spent $8,595, up from $5,600 the previous year. I do have another line item. It's called Hilco Fixtures. Remember that cooler that I bought that we tried to sell beverages in the warehouse sale? Well, that receipt was separate because it was going to be a piece of equipment that was going to be amortized over a number of years. And I found it after I did all this, so I just created a separate line item for it. On the tax filings, I'm sure it's all going to be added together for one line item. That was $2,215. Now, I'm not amortizing it over a number of years because we ended up selling it the same year, and we sold it for a profit. I think I sold it for like $2,500. It just wasn't worth the cost or the space. Now, regular bills. On rent for this building, I spent $78,000, down from $78,135 for some reason the previous year. Okay, I know I'm going to get the comments. You should just buy a building. You can put up a pole building for that. No. Yes, I probably could put up a pole building for that, but is it going to be 16,000 square feet? No. Is it going to be a mile from Lambeau Field and the mall? No. It's just not worth it. This building, the landlord told me a few years ago that he'd sell it to me. This was before the pandemic increased real estate prices. He said he'd sell it to me for $1.8 million. Now, I'm sure it's quite a bit more. I've looked at buying buildings, and I have to budget $3 to $5 million to buy something comparable. So I'd rather pay $78,000 a year, to be completely honest. Plus, there are things included in my rent, such as common area maintenance, it's the lawn care, the snow removal, some utilities, property taxes, the insurance on the building. I don't have to pay any of that. That's included in the $78,000. So anyways, next we get Spectrum. That is the internet service here, as well as our landline phones. $2,115. Wrong. $2,015.64. Oddly, to the penny, the same thing I spent the previous year. Usually they change the amount you owe a little bit year over year. Verizon Wireless. So if you don't know, I've mentioned this in other videos, I have two cell phones. One is a personal phone, one is a business phone. The business phone is through Verizon. I spent $1,945.97 on usage of that phone. Payroll. Now, payroll includes my own salary. $170,796. So that means I make at most $170,796. But I also have several other employees that get paid. So if they get paid $10 a year, then technically my salary is $170,756. But I'm not going to tell my salary on here. I never do. The only way you're going to hear my salary is if Caleb Hammer himself flies me to Austin to do a financial audit, and you watch that video, then you will hear my salary. But until that happens, if that ever happens, I'm lumping it all together with the other employees. And my paycheck is a standard salary. I get paid every 2 weeks, same day, every other Monday, just like everybody else. And then a P.O. Box rental is $63. I don't really ever use that. I lost the key for it like 5 years ago. It exists. It's not a post office box. It works like a post office box, but as a physical address. It's at a pack and ship location. It's just so I can have an alternate address. If I sell a pallet and the buyer wants me to send the product to Amazon, I don't want Amazon to link our accounts because it's shipped from the same address. So I ship it from that address. That's the only purpose of it. But that's $63 a year. Insurance, commercial auto. The business owns 2 vehicles. So the business pays auto insurance for that. $2,528, up from $2,032, but a second vehicle was purchased in 2022, which is probably the main reason for the increase. Business liability. I've got a $2 million liability policy. If someone slips and falls, the ceiling tile falls down and cracks someone over the head, the building caves in and kills somebody, it covers up to $2 million for liability. That costs $1,836, up from $1,455 the previous year. Workman's comp insurance. All right, let me give you a lesson. You probably already know that if you own a business and you have employees, you need workman's comp. I'm one of those people. I excluded myself because I have my own disability policy outside of that. That way I'm covered if I get hurt on or off the job. You can exclude yourself as the business owner. You cannot exclude employees. So workman's comp is a certain amount, and it pays if an employee gets hurt on the job, right? Well, I had an employee get hurt on the job a few years ago. A pallet fell on him. It was like the end of his shift, so he left, went to the doctor, got some x-rays. It was a Friday. He was back to work Monday. Nothing. He was just a little sore. Didn't miss any work. Workman's comp paid out like $300 or $400 for his doctor bills. Since then, it's gone up over $1,000 every year. So the lesson, and I didn't realize you could do this, just pay the doctor bill yourself if it's not like crazy expensive. So my workman's comp was $4,094 this year. The previous year was $2,300. That's how much of an increase it was. The previous year before that, if I remember, it was like $1,200. It just keeps going up substantially because of that claim. It's coming due soon in August, so I will be, if they increase me again, I'm going to look up to see if I'm just going to research other companies because that's just ridiculous. Over a $300 or $400 medical bill. So total insurance expense in 2022 was $8,459. Next, software and website fees. I spent $90 on Shopify, which I've done nothing with yet. I spent $6,468 in Auction Flex fees. That's the company that hosts our auctions. I spent $18 on WordPress. That's one domain hosted through them. It's not even hosted. The domain is purchased through them. Storage auction list. I spent $143. I've since canceled it. You can get it for free in the newspaper. That just made it a little bit easier for me. But I don't really do storage auctions that much anymore, so I just glance at the paper every so often. Let's see. Promo is a video. So it's like Canva, but for videos. I spent $119.88. It's $10 a month. G Suite, $111.85. That's what my custom email address is through, or addresses. GoDaddy bookkeeping, I canceled that in 2022, so I spent $59.94. I should have canceled it much sooner. I'm bad at canceling stuff I don't use. Web domains, $160.92. I have a whole bunch of web domains, and that's my yearly cost to keep them. Keepa, $170.42. Amazon price tracking. Remember how I said I'm bad at canceling stuff I don't use? Well, I spent $648 on Inventory Lab and $203 on Reprice It. Let's see. eBay subscription fees, $936. That's my store subscription. That does include some free shipping supplies every quarter if I actually remember to submit it. I never remember to do that. Audible, $160. I have Audible really just on work trips, so I can listen to audiobooks. And MailChimp, that's who I send marketing emails out, $648.23. So total software and website fees, $9,940. Shipping and freight. Starting with Pirate Ship, the lion's share of my eBay shipping, bigger stuff, heavier stuff, comes from Pirate Ship or goes through Pirate Ship. I spent $16,837 on shipping through them. The smaller stuff, lighter stuff, I still purchase shipping through eBay, where I spent $9,683. $9,683.77. That is mostly first class items because it's about the same price whether it's Pirate Ship or eBay. So there's no savings, and it's more efficient to ship that way. They just switched first class and parcel to be Ground Advantage, so I have yet to research which service is going to make more sense for us. So that may change for 23, but for 2022, we shipped all first class and media mail, but there's not a lot of media mail through eBay. Uship.com, that's how I ship my LTL if I'm shipping a single pallet or a couple of pallets. I spent $878.35. And Uber Freight is how I ship my full truckloads. I spent $13,055. Then other shipping was $30. That's usually like buying stamps or something. So total shipping costs of $40,484.88. Processing fees, I spent $15,673 on, I keep saying cents, $15,673.35 on eBay fees. Square merchant fees, which is primarily our warehouse sales when we accept a credit card, $7,000.71. And that one was accurate. I didn't say cents too early. First data merchant fees, that is auction purchases. When people buy through the auction, the credit card fees for that is $5,260. Now, the reason I have Square and First Data as two separate credit card processors is because First Data integrates automatically with the auction software, which Square does not. And Square gives me a whole POS, which First Data does not. And then Amazon fees, this seems abnormally high considering how little I sold on Amazon, but $2,827. For total processing fees of $30,761. Services. Oh, it's a mouthful. So services, I spent $779 in attorney fees. Accounting fees was $3,762. I rented 0 trucks, so that's 0. Storage unit rentals, this is not storage units that I purchased, this is the ones that I paid to rent. $3,746. Printing is primarily the flyers for the sale. And I think I had a sign made with them too. $1,309. Cleaning service, I have a cleaning service that comes through here, cleans the bathrooms, the break rooms, stuff like that. $1,800. Disposal fees, $673. Arlo, which was my previous security cameras, $239.88. That's since been canceled because we switched to Google Nest, $144. Google Nest is terrible. Advertising, we don't spend a lot of money on advertising. We spent $69.98 on Facebook ads and $3,500 to advertise on a local Facebook page for the warehouse sales. There was an additional $24.52 for the newspaper. We sold a storage unit in the auction, a delinquent storage unit, and part of the process of selling a storage unit is to publish a legal notice in the newspaper, and that cost $24.52. Subscription and dues, the Flipping Team, $407. Go to theflippingteam.com/resale-rabbit. I think is the correct address for that. My computer just went to sleep. I liked the lighting. There, that's better. They've been trying to get me, Knight, he's in the comments a lot. He's been trying to get me to do a sponsored video for ages for the Flipping Team, but I spent $407 on that. It is basically a buy list. They have like a whole bunch of automated softwares that find things that you can buy and sell for a profit online. And that costs $407, like $37 a month. Bank fees. I spent $5 for incoming wire fees. I must have only had one wire come in. I spent $180 on outgoing wires, which is significantly down from previous years because I'm sending checks out for a lot of my purchases now rather than wires. Once you buy enough from a company, they'll be okay with checks. Interest on on the first business credit card, interest and fees, $773. $700.73, and I did it the other way. The second business credit card, interest and fees, $277.93, and the third business card, 0. So total bank fees, $1,163. Travel, I did 5 trips, business trips in 2022, where I spent a total of $2,463 on airfare, $615 on hotels, $1,540 on rental cars, $66 on fuel for those rental cars. Worth note, most of the time I prepay for the fuel. I just buy the tank of gas when I rent the car. When I do that, that is part of the rental car line. I think there were 2 times where I paid for the fuel on my own after the fact when I didn't think I was going to be driving enough to cover a full tank, and I spent $66.79. Parking, this is mostly parking at the airport, leaving my car there while I'm gone, $100. And food, I'm really bad at writing off food. I always forget, but the ones that I did remember, $288.65. When I say I forget, that means I usually end up using my own personal card rather than the business card. Other, so just stuff that doesn't really have a category. Supplies, this is boxes, tape, bubble mailers, toner for the printer, just stuff like that. I lost my spot. $3,244 and a penny. eBay returns and refunds. Anytime I had to refund something on eBay, whether it was return, a partial refund, a cancellation, it was $6,157.50. And marketplace sales tax from Amazon, that was remitted by Amazon, $323.55. I don't have eBay marketplace sales tax as a line item because eBay does not include that on the 1099, or at least for 2022 they did not. And then one-time purchases, the following items are amortized over a number of years. They're not being written off this year, at least not entirely. So I bought a camera in May for $250. It's Tim's camera. He does all the eBay listing. We had like 3 cameras here and he didn't want to use any of them, so he just wanted to use his own. And after a couple years, I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to buy your camera because this is a lot of wear and tear on your camera. And he was okay with that. We came up with $250, so I bought it from him for $250. A box truck. In August, I bought a box truck for $2,990. In June, I bought this brick for $316.49. I bought 3 security cameras in November. I had 5 others here from the previous year that I just hadn't set up. And I think I used both Google and Arlo simultaneous. But anyways, for a little while. But anyways, I spent $221 on those security cameras, and I bought the little portable cash register terminal for $316 also in November. And that's it. So that has a grand total for expenses. Money spent as $634,215, putting us at a net loss of $49,655. Not a great year, but it's probably still going to be a positive number when you factor the inventory that was on hand and spread out the one-time purchases that need to be amortized. Think, and I may be wrong, but I think the truck can be written off all at once because of some new tax thing. But anyways, that was 2022. If you want to see previous years, I think I did 2020 and 2021 as well on here. I made money both of those years. I made a lot more than what I said because, again, once you do the thing, the net ends up being a lot higher than what this shows. But this is just the data that I send to my accountant, and they pretty it all up to send to the IRS and the state. Again, because I know nobody's going to see this or listen to this part that I said in the beginning, that is not me. That is the business. I got paid from the business, and that was factored through here. I got a paycheck, 26 paychecks in the year 2022, every 2 weeks, including 5 bonuses. We all get bonuses during the warehouse sale. So that is 2022's numbers. This video is currently 22 minutes. I wish I could have stopped at 22 minutes and 22 seconds. That would have been a lot of 22s, but I need to stop before 23 minutes, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.